Hello everyone, this is Naveen Kumar. Welcome to this video. Friends, in this video we are going to study all the tenses of English language. Tenses, they are very important in day-to-day communication, and they are also very important when it comes to learning active voice and passive voice and direct indirect speech. If a person is very familiar with the tenses, then he can easily change active voice into passive voice and direct speech into indirect speech. So let's start this session. Kinds of tenses. So there are three kinds of tenses in English language. They are present tense, past tense, and future tense. So these three tenses, they are further divided into four sub tenses. Present, past, and future. They are once again divided into four sub tenses. So let's see the present tense. So it is divided into simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous tense. So let's study simple present tense. So what is a formulation and when exactly we use simple present tense? It's formed with the base form of the verb. So the first form of the verb is used in simple present, like play, sing, write, read. These are the verbs which are in first form. So when we use it, it is used to talk about facts, habits, and universal truth. Simple present is used to talk about facts and habits of people and also universal truth. So things which are true to all the time, we use simple present. Whenever we are talking about the things which are true to all the time, we use simple present. So let's see a few examples. I live in India. So I live in India, that's a fact that is true to all the time. So here I cannot say I am living in India. The meaning would be entirely different, and that's a wrong sentence. If I say I am living in India, that becomes that my residence, okay, is in another country, permanent residence is in another country, and temporarily I am in India. That's what the meaning comes out. So I have to say I live in India. It rains a lot here. He drives fast. That's the hobby of a person. He always drives fast. So he drives fast. Sun rises in the east. That's the universal truth, which is true to all the time. Sun always rises in the east. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. That's the fact. You dance very well. That's the hobby of a person. So the things which are true to all the time, okay, whenever we talk about such things, we use simple present tense. And you might have observed all the words, they are in their first form. So that's the simple present tense for you people. Let's move on to the next one. Present continuous. So when we use present continuous, it's used to show what is happening right now or action in progress now. Whatever the action taking place right now, okay, in order to talk about that actions, we use present continuous tense. Formulation. Subject plus am, is, are plus ing form of the verb. So am, is, are the auxiliary verbs or the helping verbs that we use, and verb will be in ing form, that is present participle form. Let's see a few examples. I am reading a novel. You are playing tennis. We are staying in a hotel. He is watching TV. She is writing a letter. It is raining heavily. They are playing soccer. So all these actions, they are happening right now. They are taking place right now. So the verb is in ing form. So that's it about the present continuous tense. Next one, present perfect tense. So when we use present perfect tense, it's used to show that an action has just been completed or at the moment of speaking. So whenever we are discussing about an action which got completed few moments before or completed at the time of speaking, we use present perfect tense. Let's see the formulation. Subject plus have or has, that's the auxiliary verb that we use, plus past participle form of the verb, that is V3 form of the verb. Remember, in all the perfect tenses, verb should be in its third form, that is past participle form. Whether it is present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect, verb will be in its third form, V3 form, that is past participle form. So let's see a few examples of present perfect tense. I have read a novel. You have seen the movie. We have completed the work. He has presented the seminar. She has written a letter. It has rained heavily. They have played soccer. So in all these examples, the action got completed just few moments before, or the action is completed at the time of speaking. But we are not mentioning exactly at what point of time the action got completed. So if we mention the time here, at what time it got completed, then it becomes simple past. So that is the only difference between present perfect tense and simple past. That we will discuss later. So let's move on to the next tense, that is present perfect continuous tense. So when we use present perfect continuous tense, it's used to show that an action has been taking place since a point of time in the past and in progress up to now. So whenever we're discussing about an action which started in the past, at a point of time in the past, and it has been in progress up to now, till now it's happening, and it may continue in future also. So that's called as present perfect continuous tense. So let's see the graphical representation of this one. So action started here in the past, and it has been in progress for a certain period of time, whether it's minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, or year. And now also it's happening, and it may continue in future. Okay, so this action started here in the past, and it continued for a certain period of time, and it's happening right now also, and it may continue in future. So that is present perfect continuous tense. That's why it's called as continuous. It is going on, and it may have go on in future also. So let's see the formulation. Subject plus have been or has been, that's the auxiliary verb or the helping verb that we use, and verb will be in present participle, that is ing form. Don't get confused with present participle and all that. Present participle means nothing but verb in ing form. So let's see a few examples. I have been reading a novel for the last 3 months. So the action started in the past, that is 3 months back, and it has been in progress for 3 months and is still taking place. Reading of the novel is taking place right now also, and it may continue in future because novel is not completed, reading is not completed yet. So it may continue in future. So it's been 3 months. It has been 3 months. So I have been reading a novel for the last 3 months. You have been playing tennis since morning. We have been staying in the hotel for 1 week. He has been watching TV since 9 a.m. She has been writing a letter for 1 hour. It has been raining heavily since yesterday. They have been playing soccer for 3 hours. So note, whenever we use present perfect continuous tense, we have to mention the time period for how long that action has been continuing. Okay, so that's about present perfect continuous tense. Now we'll move on to the next one, that is simple past. So past tense is also divided into four subtenses, that is simple past, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous tense. So let's study the simple past. When we use simple past tense, it's used to show that an action was completed in the past. So whenever we're discussing about an action which got completed in the past, we use simple past. So what is the formulation? Subject plus past tense of the verb and followed by object as usual. I read a novel last week. You sang nicely yesterday. We stayed in a hotel last month. He watched TV in the evening. She wrote a letter last week. It rained heavily yesterday. They played soccer in the morning. So action completed past tense, okay, the V2 form of the verb, and when we are mentioning here. Okay, last week, yesterday, last month, in the evening, last week, yesterday, and also in the morning. So whenever we mention the time, it becomes simple past. If we don't mention the time, then it becomes present perfect tense. So let's see the confusion between simple past and present perfect tense. So many people, they get confused between simple past and present perfect tense. In the place of simple past, they use present perfect, and in place of present perfect, they end up using simple past. So let's see a few examples. I read a novel last month. That is simple past. Okay, I'm mentioning when that action got completed. I read a novel last month. That is simple past. I have read a novel. That is present perfect. In both the examples, the action is completed. The action got completed. But in simple past, I am mentioning exactly at what point of time when in the past that action got completed. That makes it as simple past. Okay, I read novel last month. In present perfect tense, I am not mentioning at what point of time that action got completed. I have read a novel. The action got completed, but I am not mentioning the time. That is the only difference between simple past and present perfect tense. But you have to be careful about the auxiliary verbs, helping verbs. There is a helping verb in present perfect tense, that is have or sometimes has. We completed the work yesterday, that is simple past. We have completed the work, that is present perfect tense. It rained heavily yesterday, that is simple past. It has rained heavily, that is present perfect tense. He submitted the assignment last Monday. That is simple past. He has submitted the assignment. That is present perfect tense. So I hope the confusion is clear now. Let's move on to the next one. Past continuous tense. So when we use past continuous tense, it's used to show that an action was in progress in the past. So whenever we are talking about an action which was happening in the past, which was in progress, but in the past. So what is the formulation? Subject plus was or were, that's the auxiliary verb, the helping verb that we use, and verb will be in ing form, nothing but present participle. I was reading a novel last month. You were playing tennis yesterday. We were staying in a hotel last year. He was watching TV in the morning. She was writing a letter last night. It was raining heavily yesterday. They were playing soccer last week. So all the actions, they were happening, they were in progress, but in the past. So was or were plus ing form of the verb. Verb will be in ing form. So that is past continuous tense. Next one, past perfect tense. Very interesting one. When we use past perfect tense, it's used to show that an action had completed before another action began. Okay, once again I'll read. It's used to show that an action had completed before another action began. So what is the meaning here? So here there are two actions. Remember, in past perfect tense, we always talk about two actions. But one action it had completed before the second action began. Okay, so let's see the graphical representation of this way. So here action 1 started and it got completed before action 2 began. And here now we are talking about these two actions. So action 1 started, okay, and it got completed before action 2 began. Okay, remember both the action 1 and action 2, both got completed in the past. We are discussing about two actions which happened in the past, but action 1 got completed before the action 2 began. That is past perfect tense for you people. Let's see the formulation. Subject plus had plus past participle, that is V3 form. Remember earlier I said that in all the perfect tenses, verb will be in past participle form. Had is the only auxiliary verb that we use in past perfect tense. Let's see some examples. I had read the novel before you suggested me to read. See, there are two actions now. The first action is I read the novel. The second action is you suggested me. But here I had read the novel. Action 1 got completed before you suggested me, before the second action began. You had played tennis before you started playing soccer. We had stayed in the same hotel when we were here last time. He had watched TV before he did his homework. She had written a letter when you approached her. It had rained heavily by 10 a.m. yesterday. They had played soccer when you called them. So you might have observed in all these examples there are two actions, and the one action it had completed, okay, it got completed before another action began. So that's what makes it as past perfect tense. Okay, remember I said earlier in all, whenever you are discussing about past perfect tense, you people should always keep in mind that we discuss about two actions. Now, one important thing that you people should remember here. Note, the latter action or the second action will always be in simple past in this tense. So there are two actions. The first action it got completed before the second action, and this second action it will always be in simple past tense. Okay, see, you might have observed in these examples, you suggested, you started, when we were here, he did his homework, you approached by 10 a.m. before it was 10 a.m. You called. So all these are in simple past tense. Okay. So that is the important thing that you should remember. Okay. So let's move on to the next tense. That is past perfect continuous tense. So there is a slight difference between past perfect and past perfect continuous tense. So when we use past perfect continuous tense, it's used to show that an action had been in progress up to another action began. See, here also there are two actions, but the action had been in progress. It had not completed here. It had been in progress when action 2 started. But in past perfect, that action had completed. That is the only difference. So let's see the graphical representation of this one. So here action 1, it started and it had been in progress for a certain period of time. Okay, it had been in progress before action 2 started. So action 1, it started here and it had been in progress. It was happening when action 2 started. Okay, it had not completed, it was happening. It had been in progress when action 2 started. Both actions, remember, they happened in past. Action 1 and action 2, both of them, they happened in past. The action 1 had been in progress when action 2 started. So let's see the formulation. Subject plus had been plus ing form of the verb, that is present participle. So had been is the auxiliary verb that we use in past perfect continuous tense. Let's see a few examples. I had been reading the novel for 3 months when I saw a film based on that novel. So here, I had been reading the novel for 3 months. That action had been in progress. It had not completed when action 2 began. What is that action 2? When I saw a film based on that novel. So two actions are there, but the action 1 was in progress. It had been in progress before the action 2 began. Next one. You had been playing tennis for 2 hours when your friends arrived. We had been staying in the hotel for 1 week before we moved to your house. He had been watching TV for a long time when you came home. She had been writing the letter for 2 hours before she asked my help on it. It had been raining heavily for several hours by 10 a.m. yesterday. They had been playing soccer for 1 hour when you called them. So, as I said, there are two actions in past perfect continuous tense also. But action 1 had been in progress for a certain period of time when action 2 started. Okay. So remember one thing, in all the perfect continuous tenses, okay, in all the perfect continuous tenses, whether it is present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, or future perfect continuous tense, we have to mention a time period for how long, okay, for how long that action has been taking place, that we have to mention it. So that's about past perfect continuous tense. So now move on to third one, that is future tense. So in future tense, the first one is simple future. So when we use simple future, it's used to show that an action will take place in future. So whenever we're discussing about an action which will happen in the future, we use simple future. So what is the formulation? Subject, shall or will. Okay, that is the auxiliary verb that we use, shall or will. And the word will be in its base form, the first form of the verb, as we use it in simple present tense. So let's see a few examples. I shall read a novel next week. You will reach there tomorrow. We shall go to Paris next month. He will call you next week. She will write the letter day after tomorrow. It will rain heavily tomorrow. They will play soccer tonight. So all the action, they will take place in future. Okay, shall and will. Remember the auxiliary verb shall. Okay, that we have to use only for first person singular and plural. I shall and we shall. And for the remaining, we have to use will. Future continuous. So when we use future continuous, it's used to show that an action will be in progress in future. So whenever we are discussing about an action that will be happening in the future, we use future continuous tense. So what is the formulation? Subject plus shall be or will be. These are the auxiliary verbs, helping verbs that we use, and verb will be in ing form. I shall be reading a novel next month. You will be playing tennis by this time tomorrow. We shall be going to Paris by this time next week. He will be watching TV this afternoon. She will be writing a letter this evening. It will be raining heavily at this time tomorrow. They will be playing soccer at this time next week. So all these actions, they will be in progress in future. So that's future continuous. Shall be or will be, and verb will be in ing form. Next one, future perfect tense. So when we use future perfect tense, it's used to show that an action will be completed in future. Action, it will get completed, but in future. Let's see the formulation. Subject plus shall have or will have, then V3 form of the verb. That is past participle form of the verb. As I said, in all the perfect tenses, the verb will be in V3 form or past participle form. Let's see a few examples. I shall have read a novel by next month. You will have played tennis by this time tomorrow. The action will be completed in the future. I shall have read novel. I shall have read and completed reading that novel by next month. You will have played tennis by this time tomorrow. You will have finished playing that game by this time tomorrow. Action which will be completed in the future. We shall have stayed in a hotel by the time you arrive. He will have watched TV before he completes his homework. She will have written a letter even before you tell her to write. It will have rained heavily by midnight. They will have played soccer by the time you reach here. Okay, so action which will be completed in future. Shall have or will have, then verb will be in its third form. So that is future perfect tense for you people. Next one, future perfect continuous tense. So when we use future perfect continuous tense, it's used to show that an action will have been in progress in future. So one action will have been in progress, okay, that will be in future. Formulation, subject plus shall have been or will have been plus verb will be in ing form. Okay, so don't get confused between future continuous tense and future perfect continuous tense. In future continuous tense, action will be in progress in future. That's it. But in future perfect continuous tense, an action will have been in progress for a certain period of time in future. That is the only difference. Let's see a few examples. I shall have been reading the novel for 3 months by next week. So I started reading novel, okay, and still I'm reading it, and it will complete 3 months by next week. So in future it will have been 3 months. Okay, so action will have been in progress in future for a certain period of time. You will have been playing tennis for 3 years this April. We shall have been staying in the hotel for a week by tomorrow. We started staying in a hotel. We are staying. By tomorrow, we shall have been completing that, staying in a hotel for a week. We are completing 1 week. He will have been watching TV for several hours when you arrive. She will have been writing a letter for half an hour in a few moments. It will have been raining heavily for several hours by midnight. They will have been playing soccer for 3 hours when you arrive. So, as I said earlier, in all the perfect continuous tenses, we have to mention a time period for how long that action has been taking place, whether it is present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, or future perfect continuous. Okay, so shall have been or will have been plus verb will be in ing form in future perfect continuous tense. So that's about the future perfect continuous tense. So I hope you people have followed all these tenses. Now let's concentrate on a few common mistakes that we do while using the tenses. What are the common errors in the use of tenses? First one, present continuous tense should not be used in place of present perfect continuous tense. So many people they make this mistake. So let's see the examples. I'm working in the college for the last 5 years. Is it right? No, wrong. What would be the correct form? I have been working in the college for the last 5 years. Okay, the action started in the past and has been in progress for a certain period of time and happening now also, and it may continue in future. So I have been working in the college for the last 5 years. That is the correct one. I am working in the college for the last 5 years. That is wrong. Mohan is staying in Hubli since 1992. Is it correct? No. So what is the correct form of this sentence? Mohan has been staying in Hubli since 1992. Okay. So present continuous tense should not be used in place of present perfect continuous tense. Next one. Present perfect should not be used for past actions. So you cannot use present perfect tense for the past actions. Let's see. I have visited Agra last year. Wrong. So whenever you mention the time when that action got completed, it should always be in simple past, not in present perfect. Have or has shouldn't come there. Okay. So what is the correct form of the sentence? I visited Agra last year. Next one. My friend has called me yesterday. Is it correct? No, wrong. What is the correct form of the sentence? My friend called me yesterday. So you shouldn't use present perfect in place of past actions. Next, when there is a main clause with a simple future, the subordinate clause must be in the simple present only. Okay. So whenever you come across certain clauses, the main clause and subordinate clause in certain sentences. And if the main clause is in simple future, the subordinate clause that always has to be in simple present tense, not in simple future. Okay, let's see. I shall tell you about it when I will know the truth. So both these okay sentences they are in simple future. So what is the main clause here? I shall tell you about it. That is the main clause. The subordinate clause is when I tell when I will know the truth. So you cannot keep both the clauses, main clause as well as subordinate clause in simple future. So one has to be the subordinate clause, it has to be in simple present. So what is the right form of the sentence? I shall tell you about it when I know the truth. Okay, it's not when I will know the truth. No, I shall tell you about it. That is already simple future. And the next one should be in simple present when I know the truth. If you will laugh at her, she will be angry. Okay, that's the wrong one. So main clause, if it is in simple future, the subordinate should be in simple present. So what is the right form of that sentence? If you laugh at her, she will be angry. She will be angry is the main clause. Okay, so the subordinate clause is if you laugh at her. So that should be in simple present tense. So that's it about all the tenses of English language. I hope you people have followed